What's up, everybody? We are here with Tim from Inflatable Office. I'm very excited about this one because rental software is something that is often overlooked by newer operators and is something that has absolutely, I don't want to be corny here, but changed my life since I got Inflatable Office with the jump off. So very excited to bring on Tim, the founder of Inflatable Office. How you doing, Tim?
Good. Hi, guys. How you doing? Glad to be here. Thanks, Nick. Always
Yeah,
enjoy talking to you.
you are very welcome. You are very welcome. And it is good to meet you, semi-meet you on camera instead of just through text or messenger. So
Yeah, have we met in person before? Maybe down at
no,
IAPA? No? Okay.
no. So I was going to go to IAPA last year, but I'm also a Christmas light contractor. And so at the time of IAPA is go time for Christmas lights. And then the jump off is still fairly busy. So it's just a hectic time. I wasn't able to make it happen last year, but I am going in 2022 for sure. So
Cool.
I'll be able to buy you a beer.
All right. That sounds good.
Cool. Okay. So take us through a little bit. Let's start off with your origin story or your comic book number one. How did you kind of get to where you are now?
Sure. So my training, my degree is actually mechanical engineering. So I went to school and got a degree in that. I worked at a place that did aircraft wheels and brakes, and I was in the R&D department. And this is all sounding really nerdy, I know. And I did thermal and dynamic analysis. So we would have problems that would come in, or we would have just different things that we wanted to improve upon with our wheels and brakes. And so we would, set up tests, run tests, analyze the data, and then try to make recommendations for design changes and stuff like that. I did that for maybe 2 years. Really liked doing it. It was a great job. But my wife was working at a church at the time, and she was doing a lot of stuff for teens, and she would rent these inflatables. And the guy that she was renting from gave her a flyer one day and said, "Hey, I'm selling all my stuff." And she looked at it and said, "Wow, this is pretty cheap. Knowing what we rent it for, it would pay back pretty quickly." And so she brought it to me and said, why don't we just get one? And well, she wasn't thinking about a business. She was just saying, let's get one and we'll have it for the church kids. And I said, well, why don't we just buy it all and we'll just run this business? So that's what we did. And I was working nonstop around the clock because I had an engineering job in this company I bought. He was doing 150,000 a year. And I just bought assets and all of his jobs. So, it was pretty quick. She decided that I had to quit one of the two, and I decided to quit the engineering job because I wanted to be my own boss. So I quit a really good paying job, and I took a chance as a carny, I guess, huh? So it was a pretty big risk, but I don't regret it one bit. So day one, I'm trying to figure out how to do this stuff that I just bought off this guy. I got to make this money, right? Because now we need it. So I'm looking and I'm asking him, like, how did you price things out? And he says, well, I just kind of paged through my files. It was all in paper, like, manila folders, just in a
What
box.
year is this?
This is back in 2004. So
Okay.
it's not that long ago. He was just a little behind, I think.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm paging through these things, like looking. He's like, I'll just find one that looks the same, like has a similar stuff on it, and I'll kind of start at that price. And I said, well, that's horrible. So I started building a spreadsheet so I could try to keep track of it all. And I told myself, well, this is really difficult to make a spreadsheet to do all the stuff that you kind of need to do when you start dealing with like long-term rentals and multiple items and everything else. And so my engineering background, I'd always had an interest in computers and programming, and I did some programming to do some data analysis. So I started to learn how to do programming on the web. And so in 2004, I started building that. And my purpose was just to make it so that my customers could go check what they wanted on a form, hit a button, get a price that I'd be happy with. And then I had a way to look at it later and make changes to it. And so that was the first thing that I did. And that was just really so I could be consistent on quoting It was really nice when I was still working to send them there to get the price instead of asking me on the phone. So that was really cool. The next thing I did, because it was a big stress for me, was I set up my worker site stuff. So the self scheduling, I did self scheduling back in 2004. I don't think anybody else was doing it then that I know of. I know When I Work started in 2010. So we were doing self scheduling way back then. And the company Inflatable Office didn't exist until 2006. So I took what I had done for my company over a couple years, and then I decided to kind of take it and go bigger with it and try to focus on that and get out of the event rentals mostly. So that was kind of the progression. And then I forget when Joel came on. It might have been 08, 2010, something like that. Joel came on as a second owner, and he was a friend of mine, and he had a very strong computer background. And so when we brought him on, I think we had, I don't think I had a single customer. I liked the program. I wasn't doing good at selling. Okay. So I brought him on, and I think over the course of a year, we sold 3 customers. We were making something, and our prices were so low back then. We had somebody who is still grandfathered on a $22.50 a month plan.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. So I think we were making under $100 a month with those 3 customers. And Joel, he was trying to make it in business, and he had some other things going that were doing okay, but he really, needed the income. So we just gave him everything we were making for a long time, and then basically that went into some sort of account that later on I would get credited back, and it was fun. It was just a fun thing. He would come. He actually lived by me at the time, and he would come over, and we'd sit down together, and we would just both have our computers going, and we would just start working on code, and then we'd make ourselves stop and make sales calls, and long way from where we are today. So
That's super cool. So what is at that time, that 04, 05, 06 ish, what does, because that predates me being in the industry. So what does the rest of the online booking world look like for event rentals?
so way back then, the best, I think, most people were using AccuVent or RentMaster, which were not online. They were trying to dabble in it a little bit. Bounce at My House was something that existed, I recall, at the time. And it was basically a shopping cart sort of system. So it didn't really work great for rentals because, as you guys know, with rentals, there's a lot more to deal with. You're not just taking an item out of inventory for good when it gets purchased, right? Because it's not getting purchased, it's getting rented. And then with event stuff, because you're renting, you're a lot of time facilitating the event. You need to know a lot more information and what you need to basically supply. What type of service you're on, so forth. So that was the only thing out there at the time that I knew of, and that's why I started creating what I started creating. I don't know when some of the other big online players started. I don't know when BCN or ERS were doing their stuff. It'd be interesting to look back and see. I would guess that they were probably in the works at the time that I started, but I don't know for sure.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You think about 2004, right? Not that long ago, so to speak, but in terms of anything technological, it's like eons ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually. I would say so. I would say what I was using was maybe version 1. Version 2 is what we call the legacy one. So it's been that long that we've been on that version, and now we have what we call our Office upgrade, which would be our 3rd version, technically. So, I mean, it's been 16 years. So we were using that one version for probably 12, 13 years, which is an eternity in tech terms.
That's
So
super
that's
cool.
kind of why we've been moving over to this new one, and I know there's been some pains for people in the process, but I know that we'll get everything worked out so that everyone's happy. It's going to be a
Yeah, I mean,
great.
I've been nothing but pleased. I've been with you guys for about a year, a little over a year now, and obviously there's a growth curve going from nothing to booking software to where I'm pretty good now. Like I'm no expert or anything, but I know how to manipulate everything. And there's stuff that I'll go in and do that all of a sudden, whoop, I can tell it's upgraded because immediately does what I want it to do. Like I put in an address, it now pulls addresses that are really close to me. Like I just
Yeah.
put in 794 the other day and it pulled up 794 Brewster Road. I'm like, boom, there we go.
Yeah, we put into practice that easier way to grab an address, and originally it wasn't looking at your geolocation, and so we upgraded it to do that. Not many people really noticed that, so I'm glad you did.
Yes, I
But
love it.
yeah, we release a ton of updates all the time, and we have big releases, and then we just have kind of updates that will go out weekly, just to fix maybe certain little bugs or certain features that maybe weren't quite complete. And so yeah, I would say that of any of the softwares out there, I'm pretty confident in saying that we are upgrading and updating and developing ours more than anybody.
Yeah,
And
it's beautiful.
I think it shows by like the quality of work we have, and also the amount of features that we make available.
Yeah, and the reason I chose Inflatable Office was there's a multitude of reasons, but when I was kind of looking into to get into rental software, number one, I've got to give Lee credit. The amount of patience he had to continue talking to me. I was acting like the monthly fee was just like thousands and thousands of dollars or something, and so like in hindsight, I'm like, that's so silly. So shout out to Lee on that one. But number two is I went around and kind of started shopping my competitors, so to speak, even though we're all friends, right? But in the area and seeing what they have and looking at their websites and then go look at the demo websites that you guys had. And to me, the aesthetics were night and day. My website still to this day gets a lot of compliments from people who don't know anything about anything, right? They just go there like, how did you make your website look like a real website? I feel like most bounce house websites look like they're made in 2004, and I tell them, I'm like, thank you. I'm flattered, except for, I just plug and play. So that was a
Yeah.
big selling point for me.
But the websites was something we did not want to do. We pushed that off for many, many years. And it wasn't, I would say we probably started doing websites maybe 4 or 5 years ago, to tell you the
Dang.
truth. And we knew when we did it, we wanted to do it right. And so we chose WordPress as a platform, and I've been very happy that we did. I mean, at this point, it's used by over a third of the websites in the world. And so it's not going anywhere. And I think people are starting to uncover that with WordPress you can do a lot of stuff that you don't have to rely on us, right? There's WordPress plugins out there that you can grab, plug into your site, and do all sorts of things that you might want to do that you're waiting for us to do, and we just haven't done them. And so our philosophy on that is we're gonna leverage WordPress as much as possible to give you the best website you can. And our goal is primarily just to build those pages for your equipment and stuff. Kind of make that connection seamless, make that checkout really good, make it possible for you to gather as many leads and sales as possible.
Yeah, I mean, and that was another major point that I saw too, because I had built. I feel like the stories are so funny how you start off in the inflatable world and then you see something doesn't exist and then you go build it for yourself, and so I tend to follow that same path, but then I did it already once. I built up my own personal blog and it was so long, such a long journey, learning everything. As soon as I meet you or meet, a Tariq or whatever, I'm like, oh, you guys already did it? I know it's worth the money. But because I had built my own blog on WordPress, I'm semi familiar with WordPress. I know how to work it a little bit. And to me, that was, oh my God, it made me very much a lot more comfortable, to get a website with you guys because I know I can manipulate it on the very basic stuff. I can manipulate it and edit it the way I want it to. And every now and then a plugin doesn't work or whatever, and I got to email Joel. But for the most part, I can go in and change text or whatever because I know WordPress and I know I can find YouTube videos, endless YouTube videos
Yeah.
on WordPress.
Yep. And we give you Elementor, which makes WordPress editing so easy. It's almost getting to Microsoft Word easy, so that's good. And I think I understand why a lot of the other places, and if we had started, doing websites as early as them, we would have probably fell into the same trap where they built something that was proprietary to them. and I get that. And now I would anticipate you're going to see them try to move away from that as much as they can and move into something like WordPress. So we're a little ahead of the game there, and it's funny because we're ahead of the game there because we were behind for a while. So we always looked at it and said we do software, we can plug into any website. So we don't want to, like, there's a million people out there building websites. Let the just go find someone and build it and plug us in. But that wasn't happening. Everyone was asking us, well, can you do my website too? And so finally we just broke down and said, okay, fine, we'll build a whole thing for that.
Yeah. So if, and again, I'm kind of a outsider looking in. I didn't really get into the back end of this industry, and now as a YouTuber, I didn't even start the channel till May. So I'm kind of starting to see things from the other side, whereas before I was just a legit consumer. But from where I sit, it certainly looks like Inflatable Office has grown and grown quickly recently. Is that true?
Yeah, for a long time, we weren't getting the marketing side down. We just weren't doing enough of that. We didn't have the word out. And so now, we hired a marketing place. They've been helping us. And I think people like you, too, like you and Tariq, who are customers of ours, who have just done a really good job of getting out there and meeting people and monetizing this industry yourself. And because we do a good job for you, you spread the word for us. And that always just helps so much. So I think all those things are kind of happening. And I think some of the things our competitors are doing are less than popular. And so it's driving some other people our way, which is good. And so we're just getting a lot of exposure right now, and it's been very exciting. We've been growing a ton, and we're doing probably 10 to 15 website releases a week, which is pretty insane. And we do it on such because we have everything set up so efficiently. We literally have 3 people that work on the website of our business.
And
So
it's what, 500 a year, huh?
what's that? Oh
That's
yeah,
five.
yeah. That's what we're on pace for right now. So it'll slow down, in the midsummer when everyone's busy at their business. They're going to stop looking for software. But it's insane how many are coming in right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, and I have a Discord group that I started, right? Because there's a million Facebook groups, and I wanted a community of my own, so I started a Discord. I got to send you the invite to it, but
Yeah,
and all the guys in the Discord, there's probably only 100 right now, but it's starting to kind of grow quickly. But they're starting to post screenshots or, hey, I'm on Inflatable Office. I need help to do this little thing, and da 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 da. So now I'm trying to send pictures and videos and try to help them out. So
yeah.
I'm a very big proponent. Absolutely.
Hey, that makes a huge difference for us too. We have so many users; it's hard to support everybody as well as we want to, especially this time of year. And we just keep hiring support staff and training them as fast as we can. But it's just not possible without you guys doing that sort of thing. So one of our initiatives is to really work to get our videos and our help site all set up to where you guys can use it pretty easily. And quite honestly, these days I don't even remember everything that's in this and how all of it is supposed to work. So whenever I have a problem, first thing I do is I search our help site. I go up to that little cog where the settings are, and I type in what I'm looking for. It'll show me the pages that I can go to in the software. It'll also show me help articles on it. And then if I can't find it there, I put it in there for you guys. So next time, both of us can find it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'll frequent, if I'm trying to do something that's a little bit more intense, I'll go check on the YouTube channel that you guys have, which I think is linked from this, right? When I'm in the software, I think it's linked from there somewhere.
Yeah, we've got a lot of YouTube links throughout our help stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I'll go, right, because I feel confident, or I feel comfortable, I guess is probably the word, trying to do it myself before I ask somebody for it. This is my personality, but you can follow along a little YouTube and figure something out. I did one the other day for damage waivers, I think. Yeah, so I added damage waivers and I followed along, and it was like click, 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 and then it was all good.
we're gonna make that a lot easier. So I'm sorry you have to go through that right now. Some of those things like damage waivers and even the tipping, we never built something for it. We just built a method to do fees and stuff like that. And it just turned out that it worked for those things. It was a little bit harder to set up, but it worked. And so we kind of just let that fly like that for a while. But we just released some stuff on tipping, and I'm going to put a video out on it probably maybe tomorrow to show you how to do the new style of tipping. And I have another video I'm going to do that's going to show you, and I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit here. But we've gone above and beyond. So whenever I hear of another software doing something better than us, I say, okay, how can we do better than them by like 100%? So, so not only do we do tipping during checkout, we're adding the ability to collect tips in so many different ways. So you can do it through auto texting, auto emailing. You're going to be able to put a QR code on your truck, on your paperwork. You're going to be able to put QR codes on your staff T-shirts. So that they can, and the cool thing about that is it's not just the person that purchased the stuff anymore. Now it's every patron that you interact with, right? So if you do a great job as an employee and you're helping, some grandma's daughter and grandma's grandson, or some granddaughter climb, and grandma might pull out her phone and give you a tip for that, right? So that's what we want to do, because we think, if we're going to get into this tipping, and I know getting your employees to be motivated to work is really hard. So we're going to make it a lot easier for them to be motivated. Let's get those QR codes on their business cards. That's just their tipping page. And anytime they're doing something for someone, they can hand that business card off, and they can get a tip then for that hard work they did. So
that's super cool. I feel like the damage waiver is kind of got its popular moment in the spotlight right now for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then I feel like tipping is the next one that's definitely, so that's cool. I think you guys would lead the trend in that.
Oh yeah. No one's doing anything like this. And it's, we're focusing on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Those are the things that people are going to have right there on their mobile device. It's going to be easy for them to send the money right away. And then that also takes it out of your hands as a business owner. You don't have to worry about tax implications or passing that money out or anything. So it's just between the patron and the employee at that point.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is everybody gets their own personalized QR code. So if Tyler drops a slide and they want to tip, they tip Tyler on his QR code.
Yep, absolutely. So awesome. It's even cooler than that, because if someone scans, so you want to have one on your truck. If they scan that, they see you at the event, they see your truck, they scan it. We're gonna geolocate them, and we're gonna find the event they're at, and we're gonna show them every worker that's helped with that event, including sales reps if you're using sales reps. And they can then tip any one of those people that they want to tip. You can now upload a profile picture of the worker, so that we'll show that worker's picture there. And if they just want to tip the company in general, they can do that as well. And you can set up your own company Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal information, and they'll be able to tip to that.
That's amazing. That's super amazing. So, okay. So I think this is a good time to kind of shift gears a teeny tiny bit and kind of get into the little bit of nuts and bolts of exactly what Inflatable Office does, what's its value prop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, for sure. So it's primarily a way for you to keep track of your business, to make sure that you're taking your bookings and you're not overbooking. We make it easy for you to do e-commerce. People, even in 2004, they were moving that way. I would say that we were probably one of the first rental businesses, or one of the few rental businesses that was actually doing it all through the internet. And so Inflatable Office is a software that'll basically connect with your website, build your website, and then let your customers and you interact through that. Now, we go a lot further. We do a ton of stuff with employees if you want to use our workers module. And we have a worker app coming out really soon that's just going to be mind-blowing. So I can't wait to get it out. We're going to do an early release here soon, just for a few people to try out. But this year we'll have that out, and hopefully in pretty good shape. We do a whole CRM. So not only can you manage your workforce and do self-scheduling and other things like that and help with your payroll reports, we have a CRM thing that will help you do more sales, help you keep track of all your connection points with someone. Like we'll track when they visited your site. And then you can do things like set up filters to show who's active and who's not been connected with by your staff in a long time. And then you can You can manually connect with them, or you can set up stuff to automatically connect with them. So, you can set up a filter that says if someone was active in the last few days, but they're not, but maybe they were active 10 days ago, they haven't been active since 5 days ago. I want to send an automatic text to them to see if they're, need any help figuring some things out for their event. You can do all that with our CRM stuff. In addition to that, we have phone systems. So basically anything you need to do as a rental company, like we've overdone it. We've done far more than we should have, and now we have to support it all. But we're having fun doing it. So if you need a website, if you need a way to manage your business, if you need a phone system, if you need to manage your workforce, we can do all that for you. And the phone system is super cool. I don't know if do you use it, Nick?
So I don't, and it's kind of one of those things that lived on my to succeed list for so long to get it started, but the jump off, and this is, I think, in great thanks to Inflatable Office, but was scaling so fast last year that I was trying to keep up with deliveries, drop offs, hiring, and cleaning, and that in and of itself was almost a full-time job, and then you throw in the real estate factor, trying to get warehouse space, or I'm running out of storage units. It just was one of those things that fell through the cracks.
No, I totally get it. But if anybody wants to check it out, check it out. It's basically, we built a Ring Central style system inside of your Inflatable Office account. Okay, so we redirect your phone calls to wherever they need to go, and you can do that by doing the old method of press 1, press 2, press 3, or you can set it up with filters and say, like, if they call in, it's the day of the event, I want it to go to this person who's the driver of the truck, right? You can set up automatic stuff like that too. Really cool system. We also enable you to do a ton of texting with that too. And texting is a really great way to do marketing these days, and even sales. And that's just going to continue to be bigger and bigger. So we handle it all. We do franchise places too. So if you're a company that's looking at this going, how do I scale and really scale? How do I take what I've learned and apply it to other geographic locations across the United States? We're the place to stay with, because we can let you do that. You can build that all inside of our system, and you can monitor all of your different franchisees through it. And we have a number of places that are doing that already. So, you're asking me what Inflatable Office is. It's basically fairly all-encompassing. If you're in the rental industry, especially inflatables events, we do like some furniture rental stuff, sanitation rental. We can do almost anything rental, but those are the main areas that we're in right now. And anything that you need as a company like that, we're going to do it for you. We're going to help you through it.
Yeah, I mean, when I started getting into it and just kind of looking behind the scenes of anything and everything you could do just in the menus and the settings, just goofing around, I was like, okay, literally this software can do anything. Some things are a click, of a box or an option, and other things obviously have to be built out in a much more coded way, I guess you could say. But the fact that it can literally do anything is so overwhelmingly obvious. It's amazing. All right, so obviously we've hit on a lot of different topics here, including your story and Inflatable Office. One of the things that I feel like I talk about the most is that under 10 units, Inflatable Office is free. So if you could highlight that, because obviously most of my subscribers and watchers are either brand new to the industry or looking to get into the industry. And so I end up pushing that free so hard, because I know how important rental software is, and free is huge when you're small. And then maybe go through the pricing tiers or kind of how it all works.
Yeah, for sure. When this is something that I really liked when I was getting into software and just like finding software for myself for different uses. I love that there were so many places doing freeware. Some of the times it was completely free. Sometimes it was like free up to a point. And I thought it was just a great way to get into a software, get to learn it. And so when I started doing Inflatable Office, I wanted to offer that as well. And so we've always had a free version. And we don't, the limitation on that is, we're doing it for small companies. And our goal is to help them grow to the point where they're no longer, fitting in that free plan anymore, and they're ready to move into a paying plan. And quite honestly, they have plenty of money to do it. So That's the purpose of it. So we do, if you're doing 10 unique items or less, which a lot of places that are starting out are going to be in that range, we give you the software to use for free, and that's everything that we have to offer. It's no different than someone paying for a much bigger plan. Now, it doesn't include some of the modules. So we do sell different modules. One of the modules you would probably need as a new business would be our WordPress sync module. And what that does is it connects the software to the website. The good news is, as far as the website goes, we give you that for free too. So when you register for an account, it's going to kick off a process where we're going to build you a free website. And then as you fill in your account, we're going to fill in that website for you. The free website doesn't come with any development hours by our staff or anything, but we help you out with different things, of course. So some of that you're on your own with, but you're not going to find that anywhere else. It's a really good way to get started. So you got the software, you got the website, and you're just paying, I think, $39 a month for the sync fee that connects the software and the website, and it also handles your hosting. So we give you an SSL certificate every year. So it really does a lot for you. And that's what we do for free. There's a great ebook if you're new, and I don't know if you push this at all, Nick, or not, but there's a great ebook that we wrote that kind of covers a lot of things that you need to know in this business. And that's under, if you go to inflatableoffice.com, right in the top there, there's a free ebook link. And if you go there, you're going to see most of that ebook right there on the website. We will send you a downloaded version. If you put in your name and email, it'll send you a download immediately or really soon after. And that download will contain links to all of the different things that we've discussed in there. Okay, you'll get a PDF of it. And now we go through things from forming your business down to insurance, equipment, safety concerns, all sorts of things that you might want to know as a new business. And I know you cover probably a lot of this, Nick, on your blog and stuff. But this is just a great resource for anybody to have. Even if you're not new in the industry or new to the business, we're going to discuss a ton of stuff in here. And some of it you might disagree about, but it's going to make you think about things, and it's going to help you figure out what you want to do for your business. So that's all real good. Now, outside of our free plan, we basically have two different versions of our software. Well, two different brands of our software. One's Inflatable Office, the other's Event Office. So our Inflatable Office brand is based on, the pricing is all based on number of unique items. Okay. So we have our starter package, our free package, that's up to 10 items. Our basic is up to 35 items, and that's 85 per month. Our plus is up to 100 items at 125 a month. Our elite is 250 items at 225 a month. And after that, it's $25 for each 50 additional items. Okay. So that was a lot, but if you go to our pricing on Inflatable Office, you can see all that laid out for you. And then outside of that, we have also a workers, a CRM module, a multi-location module if you're doing franchises or if you have multiple brands that you want to track. We have our WordPress module, and we also have our phone module. So we have all those additional things that you can add on to it. Now, if you do our Event Office plan, that is primarily set up for companies that have just really, really complicated large inventories, like maybe someone who's doing a lot of wedding stuff, who might have a lot of plates, silverware, napkins, lots of linen. So their item count is just going to be really high. And so in many cases for them, they're going to fit better in our Event Office plans. Now, those start at a higher price point, and I'm not going to go through those right now. But the way we have those plans set up is it's based on a number of admin users. Okay, so like the first plan, you get one admin user, I believe, and then you get 5, and then you get 10, and then you can pay for more. Okay, and those admin users are people that are basically working with leads on the back end of the software. So that's how the pricing works out. And we've seen people go from free, to elite using our software. So that's the stuff that we want to see. We love seeing that we can help people grow their business. When they start out less than 10 items, and now they're up under close to the 250 mark. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I can't stress to people enough that it's not a cost, it's not an expense, it's an investment. The the best analogy I heard was from Gary, who owns Jolly Dolly, but he said it would, and I'm going to paraphrase here or I'm going to screw it up, but he said something about if you were to buy an ATM machine that spit out dollar bills, you wouldn't worry about the price of the ATM machine because it's spitting out dollar bills. Rental software is that same type of mentality, because what you don't know is that, generally speaking, at a very high percentage, your customers don't want to talk to you. Like, they want to go interact, book, be done. And the rental software will do that for you. And that's where the money comes in, because it's frictionless and they can just book.
Yeah, because you're not putting any time into that. So that's like super efficient to get money that way. You wake up and you have something booked and you just really didn't have to do much for it. That's the thing. It's kind of like someone who works for you. They work 24/7. They never stop. They never take a break. And they don't cost much. Even if I'm paying the highest plan at $225 a month, you couldn't hire anybody to work for $225 a week. So it's pretty amazing. If you go to our pricing page, you can kind of fiddle with how many items you have. We have a little calculator there, and it's going to try to show you, based on some estimates from the data that we have from all of our users. It'll kind of show you like how much time you save, your monthly cost, how much sales growth you could expect, your hours that you're going to save, and also like the monthly value of the product. So just looking at it here, set at 75 items, the monthly cost is $125, and we're showing a monthly value of almost $15,000. Just based on parameters that we're able to gather from aggregate data that we have.
It's insane. I remember driving down the road getting Facebook messages, and I'm like, you have to pull over, take notes to book them. You know what I mean? Then it makes you late. Then you got to remember to get home and put it in the calendar. Like, the amount of hours that, right? And one comes through at 9:30 at night. You have to stop what you're doing to go book this slide. They're going to book it somebody else. Today, literally, this is not a lie. Today I woke up, 3 people booked at some point in time when I stopped paying attention to my email and I woke up this morning at 4:45 a.m. So somewhere in that window, 3 people booked units. And I didn't do anything, quote unquote.
That's great. That's what you want. We just want to make it an easy way to manage your business. And a lot of people miss how much, the relief of stress that we give you by doing the software for you. The amount of time that you have to go do other things is really hard to quantify, but a lot of people, I think, miss that part of it. So in addition to the sales that we're bringing, we're saving you so much time that you're able to go out and do things that whether it's personally or for your business, that you were never able to do before. You could not go wrong on any of our plans. Our software is more than pays for itself. In fact, pre-COVID, we offered a 15% growth guarantee, and I anticipate we'll bring it back at some point, but we had to change it due to COVID. But we were offering, and we've never had anyone take us up on this. We said, like, if you join with us and after a year of doing business, you don't see a 15% increase in your sales, then we will give you all your money back, and you can go somewhere else. And we've never had anybody take us up on it, because awesome. We know and they know that the software works.
So I'm digging out my spreadsheet that I still use to track, because I'm old school, but 2022 over 2021, in January, I was up 178%.
Yeah.
I didn't have Inflatable Office fully running all of January, but I did for week 5. So the first week of February, I was up 1,100%.
Yeah, that's a huge jump.
Yeah, we crushed it. And so, and yes, I've got some different units, but I really don't have that much more than I had last year. I'm really, like, I'm probably 5 units maybe more than I had last year right now. And so it's not a great big difference in much. And that's pre-Event Hawk. And so there was like one kind of crappy Google ad that I had made and one kind of crappy Facebook ad I had made. And I had those last year too. So that's really just booking software year over year.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I, one of the things that we're focusing on coming up here is the whole checkout experience. So as we've been getting into website stuff more, a lot of our energy has been spent on making this new version, this Office upgrade version, and we're coming to the end of that as far as our major heavy lifting that we have to do.
And that's like
So
the version that I'm on right now,
yeah,
right?
that's the version you're on. That's probably the only one you've ever known.
Yeah.
So we're kind of coming to the end of the heavy lifting on that. So we're able to get into some more fun things. So some of the things that you're going to see happen is one that I mentioned earlier is you're going to see a lot more with worker stuff, because I know workers, if you want to scale, you got to do the worker stuff right. And it is hard to do in this day and age. People don't want to work. So we're going to help you with that. The other thing that I really want to spend a lot of time on now that we've gotten into websites so heavily and so deeply is I want to do a lot more work with the checkout experience. I think we can help you make those sales, keep people from leaving in mid-sale, convince people that might not have booked to go ahead and go forward with it. I think we can make some major improvements in that. And so we have some great ideas in the works here that we'll be starting hopefully soon. The other thing that we're going to do is really try to help you capture leads more. That's always been a passion of ours. In fact, everyone always would say, well, why is it called leads? And, we've called it leads since the beginning because they may not be events. These are leads. These are in some ways more valuable than an event, right? Because you can book 10 events from a lead because you have a connection with somebody. They're going to be doing things at a church, for the next 10 years, and they might need something for each year, right? Or they know people as well. So these are super important, and we want to help you gather more from your website, and then not just gather those, but in an automated fashion, keep up with them and make sure that you're moving them along that sales pipeline. So those are some of the cool new things that are coming that I can't wait to get to. For me, if I could have another 10 developers, I would just be so happy because I love doing this stuff. I love building. And, like I said, we've definitely overdone it. So this small industry has this amazing capability right before them. And, I probably shot myself in the foot because I would have done it in another industry. We would have had way more sales potential, but I'm having fun. So we're
That's
staying here.
awesome.
We're just going
Exciting.
to keep doing it. Yeah.
Yep, that's
So
cool. So, all right, very good. Did you have anything you want to plug, anywhere you want to send people to? I kind of have down, I don't know if you can see the scrolling bar on the bottom here, but I know you guys do a demo of the, and that really was kind of what sold me. So I've got that down there. Get a free demo at inflatableoffice.com. But
yeah, if you guys haven't done it, go to inflatableoffice.com. There's a way to try. We call it try for free. We don't call it demo anymore. We say try for free. So, but it is the demo. So you're going to click there. It's going to get you logged into the demo. If you want, you can sign up for your own account and kind of demo your own account. That's not a bad way to do it, okay? Because you're going to have something that you can come back to and keep playing with the next, few weeks in a row. And maybe, in a month, you'll find that you kind of like it and you want to take all that work that you did and move forward with it. So that's definitely possible. I mentioned the ebook. If you're a new business, go and check the ebook out. We just purged a bunch of information from our brains, dumped it right on there, and it's going to help you a ton as far as getting set up. While we were meeting here, I had someone asking about EIN numbers and setting up a bank account, and all I have to do is direct them to the ebook because a lot of that is all in there. So those are the best things that you can do. We do have a link as well that you can go to. If you go to, I think it's just inflatableoffice.com/demo. Yeah, if you go to that, you're going to be able to actually do a demo with one of our sales reps. And it's just a 15-minute demo. So go there. You'll be able to pick the date and time that you want to do. And they will connect with you. And you'll be able to easily, just go through and see how the software is going to work, how it's going to fit for you. And sometimes that's the best way to do it because if you're doing it by yourself, it's easy to get frustrated because maybe you don't think the way we think. You're not quite sure why something's not working the way it should, or you're just trying to see if it'll do something that you want it to do. They can show you that in 30 seconds or less. So they can show you how to do it. And they're real low pressure guys. We're not a high pressure sales company. We need long-term customers. So we don't want you to sign up with us if you're not going to last. If it's not a good fit, we'll tell you, and we'll tell you to either find someone else or check back another day and see if we're a better fit. But
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things I remember the most is how awesome and patient Lee was, how informative he was. But the patience part was really where it was like it just won my heart because I was just like, I know I'm a teeny fish and I'm a pain in the ass, and he just kept he was there every time I want to talk to him, and he'd tell me anything I needed. It was awesome. So can't recommend him enough.
Well, he's a great salesman, and we hope he never leaves. So we love him.
That's cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we ran a little long, so I appreciate you hanging in there for an extra 10 minutes. But anyways, so I'm going to end the broadcast here. Tim, you can stay in the studio. You'll kind of pop down, and then I'll end it, and the recording will stop. But for everybody else at home, if you are watching and you learned anything or were inspired at all, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on the podcast, this will also go on the podcast. Please subscribe, and then don't forget to leave a review. It would mean the world to me. So thank you so much. So Tim, thanks for stopping by and talking with us. Everybody else, peace out.
Thanks, guys.